The Tony Montana said, "The world is yours, but if we are truly determined, is the world really ours? Can we have everything we want or do whatever we desire?" In this video, I will talk about the psychology of Tony Montana, the main character of 1983 film, The Scarface. Of course, to understand the psychology of a psychopath, it is necessary to know their story as well. Tony, who grew up in a poor family in Cuba, claimed that his father was originally from United States, a Yankee, as he fabricated in the immigration office. But as viewers, we instantly understand, just like the immigration officers, that is a lie. While his father's nationality is not of much concern to us, it is not difficult to guess that Tony's father either left the family or passed away while he was still a child. Tony lived in poverty with his mother and sister during his childhood. His strong interest in the mafia from a young age, like many gangsters, stems from growing up in poverty. Growing up under an oppressive communist regime like Cuba, being unable to do anything you want, and even being constantly told what to do fueled his curiosity for years. Especially in many communist countries, while the country's people struggled with the poverty, Tony admired the luxury lifestyle of the mafias who held a lot of power due to the lack of authority. According to him, anyone who holds power can do whatever they want or have anything they desire. Over the years, his narcissistic or overly confident mindset, typical of many individuals who think, "What am I lacking compared to them?" drew him closer to the gangsters he admired. Eventually, Tony got involved in crime and dirt at a very young age. Back in Cuba, somehow Tony got released from prison, perhaps by completing his sentence. After getting out of prison, he sets foot in America as a refugee with his friends. After spending a few months in refugee camp, he is told that he can get out of the camp with a green card if he kills a communist who had fled from Cuba to US, but once a part of Fidel Castro's men and had to escape due betraying Castro. Without a moment's hesitation about killing communists, Tony earns his green card. While working as a dishwasher in a small diner in Miami, he is presented with an opportunity for a drug exchange job. This marks a beginning of his ascent because despite witnessing his friend being dismembered with a chainsaw in front of him, he doesn't snitch and keeps the money entrusted to him. This act quickly proves his reliability and courage in this world, paving up the way Tony's rise to the power. Tony Montana displays a high likelihood of having personality disorders, especially antisocial and narcissistic personalities. When we examine his general psychology, individuals with these personality disorders tend to be indifferent, mocking, and disrespectful towards others. They often don't learn from the negative consequences of their actions and engage in risky behaviors without considering their own or others' safety. Hostility, aggressive tendencies, or propensity for violence are common. They struggle to fulfill responsibilities in their lives, whether it's regarding family, work, or school. Additionally, they are highly susceptible to drug and alcohol addiction. Throughout the film, we see Tony Montana has many of these characteristics. Tony indeed exhibits significant characteristic traits that suggest narcissism. For narcissists, the simple and normal lives of others seem dull and unappealing, seen as the worst life one could lead. Otherwise, Tony could have chosen to live an honest life by working in Miami. There is an air of condescension towards others in Tony. He prefers handling weak partnerships by himself, always aiming higher, constantly desiring more. Regarding his relationship with Elvira, who was initially with his boss, Frank Lopez, I don't genuinely believe he was truly in love with her. Yes, Elvira is quite impressive and there's sexual attraction, but she represents a status that Tony desires. So, to Tony, Elvira seems like a possession that could be obtained when he achieves that status. He sees her as a valuable item obtained from Frank Lopez, not necessarily someone he genuinely loves. Evidently, Tony's ability to marry women like Elvira signifies how high he has risen in the mafia business. However, for Tony, the emotions and feelings of others hold no significance. In his view, everyone should behave as he desires and fulfill his wishes. This lack of empathy is a significant characteristic of narcissistic personality. The power that Tony holds, does it make him bad? In other words, is having power a good or bad thing? I would like to approach the matter from this perspective. Frankly, saying that having power is something inherently good or bad is not entirely accurate. There is a saying by John Acton that goes, "Power tends to corrupt, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Great men are almost always bad men." I agree with this statement. The truth is, in the society one lives in, those who hold power are psychologically different from others. Their self-assurance, willingness to take risks, and their goal-oriented actions are on different level. However, this can lead to the habit of becoming intoxicated by power. The power itself depends on the character and the values of its owner. Some people use their power for positive changes in society, while others might abuse it for their personal gains. What truly matters is how one uses their power and the impact it has on the others. The most important aspect is how power is used. If the power you hold leaves a positive impact on the people around you and contributes to making the world a more livable place, then it can be said that having power is a good thing. However, looking at Tony, he couldn't control the power he had. It was endless pursuit of power. He always wanted more. However, even though Tony exhibits these traits, I don't consider him entirely bad. Whether it's his sister, his mother, or his team, he shows interest and care towards those close to him. It might sound cliché, but I believe there's a bit of goodness in every bad person and a bit of evil in every good person. I would like to talk a bit about events in Tony's life that deeply affected him and perhaps led to his downfall. One of the biggest reasons he was held in high regard by mafia bosses was his loyalty. He stuck to his word no matter what. But once he broke that, the most trusted part of himself, his life took a turn for the worse. He started to overestimate himself, fueled by the confidence gained from reaching the top, adopting thoughts like, "No one can touch me now. I'll do as I please. I'm not anyone's lackey." Apart from this, Tony made only one moral decision throughout his life, deciding not to blow up the car with the woman and child inside. While morally correct in that context, it was equally wrong from the perspective of the man he was working with, because he not only failed to fulfill his promise to Sosa, but also executed his closest men. His sudden decision stemmed from being in the world where one could easily kill a child right next to him without hesitation, and this prompted an immediate reaction from him. In short, he made the biggest mistake for his own future. Furthermore, killing Manny, whom he saw as a brother, was another huge mistake. Imagine killing someone you considered as a brother, your closest ally. And he did it when he was high by cocaine. When he realized what happened, we saw profound regret. Moreover, we all know in the movie that Manny had serious intentions towards Tony's sister. Tony increasingly turned to drugs as an escape. His addiction made him careless. Towards the end of the film, we noticed that he didn't take the necessary security measures around his house. This, we can say, was one of the major reasons for his death. When things don't go as planned, we need people for the support and morale. And Tony, in his toughest times, pushed everyone away, not knowing when to stop, and got out of control. He sacrificed everything for money and power, and ultimately lost his life. I would like to conclude my video with a quote from Pablo Cyrus. "Poverty wants much, but others everything." Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. See you in my next video.